Hello and welcome everyone. I'm glad to announce that the 9 p.m. daily quiz is back. As you know, this was a quiz series that I used to run some time back, where every single day at 9 p.m. we'll bring this lecture for you, where I will be bringing to you the most important news stories for the day in the form of MCQs. Consider these as your current affairs revision. Consider this as your way to prepare for current affairs. Consider this as a stepping stone towards success in the prelims examination. Every single day, I'll have a few questions along with their answers and explanations. I would expect you to attend all these lectures every single day and see how many questions are you getting right. As always, if you want these PDFs, join my Telegram channel. The link is in the description of the video. I want all of you to sit with your copies and your pens and see how many questions you get right. So, presenting to you, we are back with the 9 p.m. daily quiz. So, the first question over here. So, the first question for today's quiz is this. Read this carefully. The Indian Navy commissioned Mahe class ASW, SWC recently. Which of the following best describes the primary operational role of Mahe class ASW, SWC? Is it a long-range blue water anti-ship strike operations? Is it strategic nuclear deterrence and patrols in the deep ocean? Is it anti-submarine warfare in shallow coastal waters and littorals? Or is it amphibious landing of marine battalions? You can pause the video here, think about it, whatever you have read. It was in the news on the PIB website. The government of India has commissioned this. What exactly is its main role? The answer here to this question, that is Mahe class ASW SWC, is actually this. Anti-submarine warfare. The ASW will be enough hint for you. This is anti-submarine warfare in shallow coastal water. Now, this, as you can see from this definition, is an extremely important addition to the Indian Navy. For example, you would have seen the area of Sir Creek in the news. Sir Creek, that is the disputed water body between India and Pakistan. It is a shallow water, littoral water body. So to have a Indian Navy warship present here that has a capability of tackling threats in those waters, it's extremely important. And keeping that in mind, the government of India has commissioned this into the Navy. So it is an anti-submarine warfare shallow water craft. It is used to engage with submarines in shallow water specifically, not out in the ocean, not in the deep blue sea, but in the shallow waters. Let's go ahead with the second question then. Question number 2 is this. It is about the climate finance. At the COP30 discussions reported this week, India and other developing countries emphasize obligations linked to specific UNFCCC provision cited for developed country finance commitments. As you know, the countries around the world, the developing countries especially, demand that the developed world should empty their pockets and should finance this fight against climate change. Which article of the UNFCCC is mostly invoked when discussing developed countries' obligation to provide climate finance? It is Article 3.1, 4.3, 9.3 and 2.1. Which article is it that talks about climate financing for developed countries? Think about it. The answer is Article number 9. It's actually Article 9 or 9.3 to be exact, which talks about the climate financing, which is a bigger responsibility of the developed world. You all would be aware of the idea of common but differentiated responsibility. Common but differentiated responsibility, which corresponds to the fact that every country around the world has a responsibility to fight against climate change, but the magnitude of responsibility is not the same. It is differentiated depending upon your size of economy, whether you are developed or developing. So this is Article number 9 that talks about the obligation of developed countries to provide financial resources. India has again and again highlighted that the developed world needs to do much more in this fight against the climate change to help countries such as India in the long run. Moving on to the next question. This is 3. The 2025 amendments to the IT rules introduce procedural safeguards for takedown orders. Which of the following is a key procedural change in 2025 amendments? So what exactly has changed? First, any citizen can directly order a platform to remove content without government oversight. Only senior government officer, that is joint secretary rank or above, can issue certain removal directions, and periodic higher level review is mandated. Platforms are absolved of liability even if they knowingly host unlawful content. All takedown orders are now to be issued only by district level officials. Which of these is a change introduced in the IT rules? This was a lot in the news very recently. The government has been trying to regulate all these online platforms. Under this, the answer here is B. Only senior government officer, that is joint secretary rank or higher, can issue removal directions. That is, if they have to order, let's say, X or Facebook or Snapchat to remove some data from their platform, such an order can only be given by joint secretary or higher ranked officer than that. So the answer here has to be B. This was a 2025 amendment that was in the news recently. It was notified by the Government of India very recently. Moving on to the fourth question. The CBI sought prosecution sanction against several IAS officers in the Jammu and Kashmir gun license scam. Under prevention of corruption framework, what is the role of prosecution sanction? First, is it unnecessary? Public servants can be prosecuted without any prior permission. Second, required before prosecuting public servants for offences under Prevention of Corruption Act. Third, it must be granted by district magistrates only. And fourth, it replaces trial and leads to summary conviction. Now, in governance, you usually read about the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988, which was amended in 2018. A lot of new provisions were introduced in that act. One of the provisions of the act is prior permission of the government for prosecution. Means if the investigating agency has to file a case against an individual under this act, they first have to take government's permission. This is the idea of prior permission for prosecution. The answer here is B. Under this act, it is required that before prosecuting public servants, this approval shall be required from the side of the government. This is why it is in the news. The answer thus here would be B. This was question number 4. I hope you got this one right as well. Moving on to question number 5 now. The government announced a limestone block auction roadshow to be hosted in Jammu and Kashmir. Which central ministry is principally associated with this initiative? Is it the Ministry of Coal, Ministry of Mines, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, or Ministry of Railways? As you know, Government of India has been trying to give a push to investment in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Under this, the government has initiated the limestone block auction roadshow. Which ministry is doing this? It is the Ministry of Mines. They are the ones who are responsible for this. It is in the news. You would do well to remember this information as well. I have one more question to go for today's quiz. This is question number 6, the last question. An Indian Express explainer this week flagged failings in India's juvenile justice system. Under the current Indian juvenile justice law, which of the following statements is correct about children aged 16 to 18 accused of heinous offences? 1. They are automatically tried as adults with no special procedure. Second, they are always immune from prosecution for any offence. Third, they may be tried as adults in certain cases after preliminary assessment by Juvenile Justice Board or JJB. The law makes no distinction based on age for heinous offences. Now, this specific provision was a lot in the news after the infamous Nirbhaya case in Delhi, in which one of the people who were guilty was just a few days below 18, because of which the maximum punishment at that time for anyone who was below 18 was 3 years and not more than that. There was a lot of protest against this provision. That is why the Government of India formed the Justice Verma Committee. The Justice Verma Committee was formed to suggest what changes to make in the Juvenile Justice Act. As per the changes that they recommended, one of this was this, that if you are 16 to 18 years old, in case of committing a heinous crime, there will be a preliminary investigation done by the Juvenile Justice Board. If they think that while committing the crime you knew about the consequences, you committed the child as an adult, the mentality was of an adult, then you can be tried as an adult. However, in this case also, there cannot be death sentence. So maximum can be life imprisonment. but there cannot be a death sentence. This is how Juvenile Justice Act right now works in the country. This was today's quiz. I hope you like that the initiative is back and it will be here every single day at 9 p.m. So do join me to revise your current affairs and prepare well for the prelims exam. If you're new here, do hit the like and the subscribe button. If you want this PDF, do join my Telegram channel as well. Thank you for watching this. Bye-bye. Jai Hind.